There exists a category of creatures in this world. They have been witnessed by a small number of people, but have never been officially confirmed to exist. We refer to these creatures collectively as unidentified mysterious animals, or UMA for short. Hello everyone, and welcome to the UMA series. In this episode, we are sharing a mysterious and unknown creature said to roam the northern region of Chile. It is known as the Arica Monster. The Arica Monster, also called the Arica Beast, has been reported in Chile's Atacama desert, particularly near the city of Arica. This creature is commonly described as something between a kangaroo and a bird, resembling a small dinosaur-like animal. It stands roughly 6 to 7 feet tall, has grayish skin and 2 thick, powerful hind legs, and walks upright on 2 feet. On August 1, 2004, the Chilean newspaper La Estrella de Arica published an article with the headline, "Strange Creature Spotted in Pampa Aca." The story went as follows. 2 days earlier, on the evening of July 30th, at around 9:30 p.m., Chilean Army officer Hernan Cuevas was traveling along Chile's Pan-American Highway with his wife, 2 young children, and a driver named Dario Riquelme. As they neared the Pampa Aca area, close to the famous Presencias Tutelares statues, they suddenly encountered a bizarre creature crossing the road at high speed. The driver immediately slammed on the brakes. The creature was entirely gray, with no visible fur or hair. It moved upright on 2 hind legs, and its large thighs were clearly visible. Just a few minutes later, a second creature of the same type appeared. This time, Riquelme, Cuevas, and his 12-year-old daughter Tania were all able to get a clear look at the creature. Despite the tension of the moment, they kept their composure. Tania later recalled that the creatures looked very similar to dinosaurs, with noticeably small front limbs. Based on their discussion afterward, they estimated the height of the first creature to be between 6 and 7 feet. The second one appeared somewhat smaller in size. Although it was nighttime, the creatures passed within no more than 13 feet of the vehicle. Combined with the bright moonlight and the car's headlights, the witnesses were able to see the creatures clearly. 2 days after that report was published, on August 3, 2004, another article appeared with the headline, "More Strange Creatures Reported in Asha." This drew renewed public attention. This second incident had occurred about half a month earlier, sometime in mid to late July, at around 9 p.m. Chilean Army sub-officer Carlos Abet de la Torre was driving with his family of 6, past the area near the Presencias Tutelares statues, when 4 kangaroo-like creatures with dog-like faces reportedly chased their vehicle. His eldest daughter, Carmen Abet de la Torre, described the moment. She said she had been chatting with her siblings in the back seat when everything suddenly went dark. Then, looking through the window, she saw several creatures that looked like birds but had dog-like heads. 2 of them swept past the front of the vehicle, and 2 others rushed directly toward the front of the car. She was not sure whether the creatures had wings or legs, because they vanished into the darkness almost immediately. Several of the children in the car were frightened. It was only when their mother spoke up that they snapped back to their senses. Carvin's mother, Teresa Abet de la Torre, who was seated in the front passenger seat and had the best vantage point, added that the creatures ran at an incredible speed, nearly keeping pace with the car, which was traveling at approximately 60 miles per hour. The entire incident left the family deeply shaken, and Teresa was even afraid to make the return trip. Out of fear of being ridiculed, the family kept silent until they saw the news article published 2 days earlier, at which point they decided to come forward and share their experience. After the events were reported, 2 animal hunters traveled to the area near the Presencias Tutelares statues to search for traces of the creature, but found nothing particularly conclusive. The story did not end there. Fernando Perea, the journalist who wrote both articles, continued to closely investigate the case. On August 7th, he published yet another similar sighting. The source was a newsstand owner in Arica by the name of Fanny Reyes. She said that a truck driver who regularly traveled between Chile and Peru told her that one night in June, while passing through the Pampa Aca area, he saw a strange creature dart in front of his truck and remain there for a few seconds. Its appearance, he said, closely matched the creature described in the news reports from a few days earlier. There were many other individual sightings recorded as well. In the years that followed, scattered accounts continued to surface, naturally drawing the attention of researchers and media outlets. In 2009, the American paranormal reality television series Destination Truth, airing on the Sci-Fi Channel, premiered its 3rd season. Episode 8 featured an in-depth investigation into the Arica Monster. Paranormal investigator Josh Gates led his team to Arica, where he first interviewed Hernan Cuevas from the first incident. and Carmen Abet de la Torre from the second. Based on their descriptions, the creature seemed to resemble some kind of small extinct dinosaur. Carmen also drew a sketch of the footprints the creature had left behind, which showed 3 large wide toes. With these clues in hand, the Gates team assembled their equipment and ventured deep into the Pampa Aca desert in hopes of tracking down the creature. They deployed 4 infrared cameras in an attempt to capture footage of it. That effort ultimately failed. However, the expedition was not entirely fruitless. They found the remains of what appeared to be a carnivore's meal and discovered one very large animal footprint that displayed 3 prominent toes. A cast was made of the footprint and brought back to a dinosaur research institute in Los Angeles. Renowned paleobiologist Luis Chiappe stated with confidence that the footprint did indeed belong to a dinosaur. He suggested that the most likely candidate was a member of the genus Iguanodon. Iguanodon belongs to the suborder Ornithopoda and was a medium to large-sized herbivorous dinosaur, diverse in species, that primarily lived during the early Cretaceous period, approximately 130 million years ago. It measured between 30 and 36 feet in length and weighed up to 4.5 metric tons. Its hind feet featured a distinctly 3-toed appearance. However, Chiappe noted that he could not determine when the footprint was made. It was possible that it was tens of millions of years old, buried in the sand over time, and only recently exposed by climate change and rainfall erosion. The Abet de la Torre family, meanwhile, found a picture in a book that closely matched what they had seen. They believed the creature was a dromaeosaurid dinosaur. Dromaeosaurids, also known as raptors, and commonly called velociraptors in popular culture, were a group of bird-like carnivorous dinosaurs with an extremely wide distribution. They belonged to the suborder Theropoda. The smallest known dromaeosaurid, Microraptor, measured only about 2.3 feet in body length. The largest could exceed 20 feet, including Utahraptor and Achillobator. Although dromaeosaurids had 4 toes, the second toe bore a large sickle-shaped claw that was held retracted off the ground while walking. As a result, the footprints they left behind also showed only 3 toes. Interestingly, fossils of both Iguanodon and dromaeosaurid dinosaurs have been discovered in or near Chilean territory. Regardless of which type the Arica Monster might be, if such a creature truly exists today, it would represent a completely groundbreaking discovery for science. However, this author believes the probability of the Arica Monster being an actual surviving dinosaur is quite low. First, we know that the most fundamental requirement for any living organism is access to water. The Atacama Desert, influenced by subtropical high-pressure systems, offshore winds, and the cold Humboldt Current, is one of the driest and most barren regions on Earth. It is so extreme that it has been called the dry pole of the world. Average annual rainfall in some parts of the desert is less than 1 millimeter, and the city of Arica holds the world record for the longest continuous dry period ever recorded, going without a single drop of rain from October 1903 to January 1918, a streak of 172 months, or more than 14 years straight. It is very difficult to imagine how a large creature could have evolved and survived in such an environment for at least 70 million years. That said, it is undeniable that the sightings did occur. So what exactly did these people see in the desert? Following the 2 major sightings in 2004, Chile's Agricultural and Livestock Service issued a public statement. The agency's director at the time, Oscar Concha, said that in all his years of service, he had never encountered anything like the described creature, and that there was no local legend or tradition involving anything remotely similar. He suggested that the sightings may have been optical illusions caused by blowing sand and dust, and that what people actually saw was likely just a dog or a rhea. Sharing this same theory was paleobiologist Luis Chiappe himself. At the conclusion of the Destination Truth episode, he explained that what people most likely saw was the greater rhea. The rhea is already considered a close relative of dinosaurs, and the greater rhea, also known as the South American 3-toed ostrich, has 3 large clawed toes that leave footprints remarkably similar to those of a dinosaur. Its height can reach up to 6 feet, which also closely matches the descriptions given by the witnesses. Although one witness, Dario Riquelme, specifically stated that what he saw was not an ostrich or a rhea, the rhea theory remains the most plausible explanation for the Arica Monster. One other theory was offered by Spanish investigator Ramon Navia. He claimed to have spoken with several anonymous witnesses who told him that the Chilean military had been conducting holographic projection experiments in border areas. However, this explanation is clearly undermined by the physical evidence because the creature left actual footprints behind. To this day, there is no definitive conclusion regarding the Arica Monster. We may never know the full truth. Perhaps somewhere in the vast and remote reaches of the South American desert, a creature from another era truly does exist, moving through desolate terrain, waiting for us to find the answer. As always, the unknown is always greater than the known, and that is exactly the appeal of the UMA. That is all for this episode. Thank you for watching.